Hello students, so let us continue with chapter 1, The Summer of a Beautiful Horse by William Saroyan. So this is the third video of this chapter. In my last video I have explained some part of the chapter, and now the rest part of the chapter I am going to explain in this video. But before explaining the remaining part of the chapter, let me summarize what I have explained in my last video. Okay, so let me explain what I explained in my last video. So I started explaining from, let me open the page on the screen. Let me bring the page on the screen. So in my last video I explained from here, from well he said. Okay, so let me summarize what I explained in my last video. In my last video I explained that in this story Aram asked Murad if he had stolen the horse. Murad replied, if he wants a ride, he must jump out of the window. Aram was convinced that horse was stolen by Murad. He came to visit him to ask him to ride it with him. Aram tried to convince himself that it was not the same as stealing money, as they both were so crazy about riding a horse. He thought that it would not be called stealing until they decide to sell it, which they would never do. Aram said he will wear some clothes and come outside. He jumped down to his yard from his room's window and sat on horse behind his cousin. Aram lived at the edge of the town on Walnut Avenue. There were orchards, vineyards, irrigation. There were orchards, irrigation fields, yes, irrigation ditches and country roads behind his house. There were on Olive Avenue. Now they were on Olive Avenue within 3 minutes, and the horse started to proceed. The air felt new and lovely to breathe. Aram felt wonderful. Sitting on the horse which was running, Murad started singing loudly, who was considered one of the craziest members of the family. There is one crazy person in every family, and Murad was one natural descendant of a crazy race in their tribe. Before Murad was Uncle Khosrow, was one huge man with black hair and largest mustache in the valley. He had an energetic temper and was impatient, which was irritating. He used to make anyone stop talking by roaring and say, it is no harm, pay no attention to it. Uncle Khosrow was always this rigid, no matter what happened to be talking about in front of him. Once his own son was always once his own son let me display the same paragraph. He was a craziest one and a short tempered person. It doesn't matter whatever one used to talk to them, and Murad was the descendant of his uncle. Okay, so it does not matter for him how important the thing was, how important the matter was. He only used to say it is of this is of no harm, it is no harm. Where is his patent line which is given in the, what was his patent line? He used to say yes, he used to say it is no harm, pay no attention to it. It was his patent word he used to say, and Murad was the descendant of him. Uncle Khusro was always this rigid no matter what happened to be talking about in front of him. Once his own son Arav came running to him when he was getting his moustache trimmed at the barber's shop. He told him that house was on fire, to which he wrote and said the same dialogue. Barber was assumed and tried to talk to him about it, but as usual, Khosrow roared again and did not pay attention to it. Murad was considered to be a natural descendant of this man, but he was not his son. His father was Zorab, who was a practical person. A child could look like his father, but doesn't mean he gets his nature and attitude just the same. There are different kinds of people in their tribes, moody and without any settled work or home, and they were homeless, vagrant. They were still riding the horse, and Murad was still singing loudly. So they were still in the countryside where, according to their neighbors, they belonged to. Further, Murad asked him to get down as he wanted to ride alone. Aram asked if he could ride the horse alone. He said, it is up to the horse if he wants to ride you along, and asked him to get Murad down again. Aram tried to convince him that the horse would let him ride, to which Murad said that we shall see, and we shall see. And further, he told Aram that he had a way with his horse. Aram told him that he had it too. Murad told him to get down and said it is for his own safety. Let us hope so. Aram got down while telling him that he will ride the horse alone. Murad kicked the heels in the horse and shouted, run to him. The horse stood on its hind legs, breathed out, and ran into a speed. Murad raced the horse across the field of dry grass and irrigation ditches. When they arrived 5 minutes later, they were wet. Okay, so now let us continue with the story. So in my last video yesterday I explained till here. Okay, so now I'm going to explain the rest part of the story. Okay, I'm going to explain from here. The sun was coming up. So I hope you all are ready for the same. So let us begin. The sun was coming up. So it was, the day was moving ahead. It was getting afternoon. The sun was coming up. Now it's my turn to write. Now it was the narrator's turn to write. He said, my cousin Murad got off the horse. Then his cousin Murad, he also got off the horse. Right, he said. He offered Aram to ride. I leaped to the back of the horse and for a moment knew the most awful fear imaginable. So the narrator Aram, he leaped back on the back of the horse. He leaped to the back of the horse. He sat on the horse, sat on the back of the horse, and for a moment he knew the most awful fear imaginable. So he was getting afraid. The horse did not move. So for some time the horse did not move. He kept on standing as Aram was new. He never rode on a horse, so he did not know how to operate a horse. Kick into his muscle, my cousin Murad said. His cousin Murad said, kick into his muscles. What are you waiting for? We have got to take him back before everybody in the world is up and about. So he said, we have to return the dog. We have to take back the dog at the place from where I have got it. I have to hide the dog before everyone get up and come to know about it. So I want to hide the dog. So hurry up. I kicked into the muscles of the horse once again. It reared and snorted. Then it began to run. So the narrator, Aram, he kicked into the muscles of the horse. So once again it raised and snorted, breathed out. Then it began to run. I didn't know what to do. So as narrator was a boy of 9 years, so he did not know how to operate the horse. So he did not know what to do. Instead of running across the field to the irrigation ditch, the horse ran down the road to the vineyard of Dikran Halabian, where it began to leap over vines. So instead of running across the field to the irrigation ditch, so when Murad was riding the horse, so it was running across the field to the irrigation ditch. But this time when Aram was operating the horse, instead of running through that field, the horse started running through the road and to the vineyard of Dikran Halabian, where it began to leap over vines. So started leap over vines. The horse leaped over 7 vines before I fell. So before Aram fell down, the horse leaped over 7 vines. Then it continued running. Then Aram fell off the horse, and the horse continued running. My cousin Murad came running down the road. So his cousin Murad came running down the road. I'm not worried about you, he shouted. He shouted that he was not worried about Aram. We have got to get that horse. So they have to got the horse. They have to get the horse because he had stolen the horse. So he did not want to know anyone that he had stolen the horse. So that's why he was not worried about Aram. He was worried about horse. You go this way and I will go this way. So he instructed Aram to go to another way, and he would go to another way to catch the horse. If you come upon him, be kindly, I will be near. So if you will come upon the horse, come across the horse, so be kind and I will be there. I continued down the road and my cousin Murad went across the field towards the irrigation ditch. So Aram continued, the narrator continued down the road, and his cousin Murad, he went across the field towards the irrigation ditch. It took him half an hour to find the horse and bring him back. So it took Murad half an hour to find the horse and bring him back. All right, he said. Jump on. All right, he said, jump on. The whole world is awake now. He said, now everyone got up. What will we do? I said. So he said, what we should do now? Everyone got up now, must have got up, and we would be caught. So what should we do now? Well, he said, we will either take him back or hide him until tomorrow morning. So he said, either we must return the horse, and now it is enough light. Now it is the time of morning. So everyone must have got up. So we had better to hide it or return it. He did sound worried, and I knew he would hide him and not take him back. So he didn't sound worried, so he was not looking worried. And Aram said that he knew that Murad is not going to uh, give back the horse. So he would be hiding the horse, not for a while, at any rate. So at any rate, the narrator's cousin Murad uh, was not going to return the horse. Where will we hide them? I said. So the narrator asked him where they would hide the horse. I know a place, he said. Murad replied, he knew a place where they could hide. How long ago did you steal the horse? This horse, I said. So when Murad told him that he had known a place where they could hide a horse, then Aram guessed that Murad had stolen this horse long before. It is not that day when he stole the horse. Okay, but he did not let the narrator know about it. It suddenly dawned on me that he had been taking these early morning rides for some time and had come back for me this morning only because he knew how much I longed to ride. So here it suddenly dawned on it, suddenly appeared to narrator that he had been taking these early morning rides for some time, that Murad had been taking the early morning rides for some time and had come to him this time because Aram the narrator also wanted to ride the horse. He also loved to ride the horse. Who said anything about stealing a horse? He said. He said, now who said anything about stealing a horse? Who would talk about stealing a horse? Anyhow, I said, how long ago did you begin riding every morning? So he said, okay, then anyhow, tell me How long ago had you started taking a ride of the horse every morning? Not still this morning, he said. Not until this morning. He said, before this morning, I never took a ride. Are you telling the truth? I said. Further, Aram, the narrator, asked him, so was he telling the truth? Of course not, he said. But if we were found out, that's why you are to say. So, of course not, he said. But if we are found out, if we are caught, so that's what you want to say. So the same line you have to use. If we will be found out, we will be caught, then you have to use the same line as I have said. I don't want both of us to be liars. Okay, so all you know is that we started writing this morning. So what I want that you should also know that, and you should also informs other that we started riding the horse from this morning. Okay, before this morning we haven't rode the horse. All right, I said. So narrator agreed his cousin Murad. He walked the horse quietly to the barn of the deserted vineyard, which at one time had been the pride of a farmer named of Fetvezen. So he walked the horse quietly to the barn. Barn means a building or a farm which is used for storage of animal or grains. Okay. So he took the horse to the barn of a deserted vine, and that barn belonged to a farmer whose name was Fetvezan. So there were some oats and dry alfalfa. So he found there some oats and dry alfalfa flowering plant in the barn. So there was some oats and a dry a flowering alfalfa flowering plant. So he found it in the barn. So we began walking home. So now they started walking back to home. It wasn't easy, he said, to get the horse to behave so nicely. So he said to the narrator that it was not easy to operate the horse, to make the horse to behave so nicely. At first, it wanted to run wild, but as I have told you, I have a way with horse. At first, the horse wanted to run wildly. Further, Murad informed that in the beginning the horse wanted to run wildly, but I have a relationship, I have a you can say a contact with the horse, I have a way with the horse, so I can handle the horse. Overall, he wanted to say that he was capable of handling the horse. I can get it to want to do anything I want it to do. So I can get it to want to do anything. So what will do? Okay, the horse will act upon my advice. Horses understand me. So further he added that because horses can understand me. So how do you do it? I said. So Aram asked, the narrator asked him, so how did he do it? I have an understanding with a horse, he said. He said, because I have an understanding with a horse. Yes, but what sorts of understanding? I said. Aram, the narrator asked, but what type of understanding you have with horse? A simple and honest one, he said. He said, a simple and honest one. Well, I said, I wish I knew how to reach an understanding like that with a horse. So narrator said that I also wanted to reach to that understanding with a horse. You are still a small boy, he said. So the cousin Murad said, you are still a small boy, and when you get to be 13, you will know how to do it. He said, when you will be of 13, you will get to know how to do it. You are a small boy, you are of 9, so you cannot do it. I went home and ate a hearty breakfast. So the narrator went home and he took a hearty breakfast. That afternoon, my uncle Khosrow came to our house for a coffee and cigarettes. So that afternoon, uh, narrator's uncle Khosrow came to their house for coffee and cigarette. He sat in a parlor, uh, a sitting place in a house that is called uh, parlor. So he sat in the parlor, sipping and smoking and remembering the old country. So he was sipping the tea and he was smoking, he was sipping the coffee and smoking and also remembering his old country where he used to live, where he belonged to. Then another visitor arrived. So, on that moment, another visitor arrived, a farmer named John Byro, an Assyrian. So, a person of another race, Assyrian, came whose name was John Byro, who came to narrate, who out of loneliness had learned to speak Armenian. So he was Assyrian, the farmer John Barrow was Assyrian, but he knew how to speak Armenian. My mother brought the lovely visitor coffee and tobacco, and he rolled a cigarette and sipped and smoked. So the narrator's mother brought the visitor John Barrow for John Barrow coffee and tobacco, and he started sipping the coffee and smoking. And then at last, sighing sadly, he said, "My white horse, which was stolen last month, is still gone. I cannot understand." Then John Barrow told Uncle Khusro that his horse was stolen last month and is still missing. He could not understand who stole his horse. So John Barrow here informed Uncle Khusro that his horse was missing. So at this point, Aram came to know that the horse which Murad had stolen belonged to John Barrow. My uncle Khusro became very irritated and shouted. So the narrator's uncle Khusro, he became very irritated and he shouted, "It's no harm. So what is the loss of a horse? Haven't we all lost the homeland? So what is this crying over a horse?" So he said, "It is no harm. So it doesn't matter. We have lost our homeland and you are crying for a horse. You are crying because you have lost your horse. So it does not make any difference. That may be all right for you, a city dweller, to say John Barrow." So he said, "That may be all right for you, but it is not all right for me because you are a city dweller, because you are a person who live in a city. So you are a person who lives in a city, so it is okay for you, but it is not okay for me. But what of my Surrey? What of Surrey means, a country in the southeast England. So, what good is a Surrey without a horse? So, how can I manage to take my travel in the country? How can I manage to travel in the country without a horse? Pay no attention to it." My uncle Khusro roared. So again, his uncle Khusro said loudly, uh, "Okay, pay no attention to it. I walked 10 miles to get here," John Barrow said. John Barrow said, "So here I have come on my feet from 10 kilometers away, 10 miles away. You have legs," my uncle Khusro shouted. "So my left leg pains me," the farmer said. Farmer further informed me, my left leg pains me. Pay no attention to it. My uncle Khusro wrote. So once again he wrote that you need not pay attention to it. That horse cost me $60, the farmer said. The farmer John Barrow said the cost of the horse was $60. I spit on money, my uncle Khusro said. So his uncle Khusro said he spit on money. So money doesn't have any value for him. He got up and stalked out of the house. So he got up and went out of the house, slamming the screen door, slamming the front door. So John Barrow left the narrator's house. So at this point, the narrator came to know that the horse which Murad had stolen, it belonged to John Barrow, an Assyrian farmer. Okay, it's all about today's video. Okay, till here I have explained. In my next video, I will finish this chapter. Okay, thank you for watching the video.